Quizzes are one of the best ways to increase engagement on a website and also generate leads and increase your product sales. I've been doing this since 2013, and since then, quizzes have been an excellent way to increase the engagement on a website. It's actually why we started our company, Interact, in the first place. We had a client. He wanted us to build him a website, so we built him a whole website, and it wasn't converting that well. It was only getting 1 or 2% of people to join his email list, and that was the only thing that he really cared about. Then we put a quiz on that website. It was a sales personality quiz. I still remember it. And it jumped to 40% conversion rate. So quizzes are excellent at engaging your website visitors and not only generating leads, but also selling more products. Let's take a look at some examples so you can see how this actually works in real life and make it more concrete. First one here is from Advice with Erin. This is the quiz that's on her website. You see it's up here in the header. There's also a button for it. You take the career quiz, it goes to a page, and then you go through the quiz. This is a longer quiz. It's about 30 questions. And the reason why this quiz is longer is because that's what her audience expects. They want her to ask a lot of questions because they feel like they're in the wrong career. And that takes us to our first point here, which is that your quiz has to answer the question that's on the mind of the people who are visiting your website. What are they feeling inside? What do they want an answer to? Why did they come to your site in the first place? People don't just scroll around on the internet in 2026. They're looking for answers. So what do they want? And in this case, they want to know what type of career is right for them. So that's what this quiz is about. The next one that I have here is from Henry's House of Coffee. You'll see they also have Take Quiz in the header here. This is a great example of a product recommendation quiz. If you scroll down the site, you can also see that it's linked down here, Find Your Match. The reason why this quiz works so well is that there's a study that came out in 2025 out of Haga University in Finland. And that university found that quizzes on a website not only increase engagement by 20%, but they increase purchase intent by 10.5%. And this quiz exactly mirrors those numbers. Farag told me in person, I've met him a few times, he said that this quiz generates 23% conversion rate for quiz taker to lead. So that's the engagement rate. And then 9% of people who take this quiz go on to make a purchase, which is really great. I'm going to go through this whole one because it's shorter. So you'll see here, there's a variation in terms of how long these are. And the rule of thumb is whatever you need to ask to give an accurate answer within the quiz, that's how many questions you want to ask. So here I go, 5 questions. I'm going to skip the opt-in here, and I got medium and nutty as my recommendation. There are 3 products here. This also taps into the JAM study, which shows that if you offer fewer products, you have more purchases. So double duty there in terms of conversion rates. Next one is from Christina Cleveland. She's an interior designer and has a style quiz on her website here. So you'll see, again, it's up in the header, and I believe it's also linked, yes, down here lower on the site. So 2 places where you can take it. And another point here, right? You're not supplanting the book a call. You're not supplanting the services. Those are still here. Those are prominent. And if people are ready to do that, then great. But typically the number of people who are ready to do that is only 1 to 2%, which is like our original example with our customer all the way back in 2012 when we built that website. He was only getting 1 to 2% because that's typically how many people are ready to just go for it. They're ready to buy whatever you have to offer, book a consultation call if that's the first step in really going to work with you. But what about the other 98, 99% of people? They're not ready right now. But if you don't give them something to engage with, like a quiz, then they're just going to leave and they're never going to come back. Like there's too many options now where they're not going to remember your brand name just because they visited your website once. So anyways, you have the style quiz here. This one, I believe, is 11 questions, much more visual, which makes sense for an interior designer, but still a very well done quiz. You'll notice there's a lot of variation in these. I think the commonality that I see is that all of these quizzes really, really answer that question that people are coming to your site with. So, you think about Advice with Erin, career advice. What type of career should I be in? Henry's House of Coffee. Well, which one should I buy? This one, interior designer. Well, what's my interior design style? I want to make sure that whatever I go with matches what I want. So you're really answering that question that's on people's mind. And then in the outcomes of the quiz, so that's what comes at the end, the reason why you don't need a ton of outcomes, and typically you only need 4 to 6, is that what you'll find as you talk to customers is you'll find that most people fall into 4 to 6 buckets or outcomes that actually will satisfy what it is that they want. It will satisfy the answer to the question that they came to your site to find an answer to. You can email me if you want. There's my email. And so here, We see the style is curated loft. And there's probably, I'm not sure exactly how many Christina has here, somewhere between 4 and 6, 4 to 8, something like that. And you are showing this style. And most people end up falling into one of those buckets. It's surprisingly accurate. We've had a billion quiz takers at Interact, and we have found that over and over and over again, people are like, wow, this really speaks to me. Now, the way that you get there, and I've interviewed a bunch of people who have created really successful quizzes, the way that you get to those 4 to 6 outcomes that actually do satisfy what people want and connect with them on that more intimate human level is you have to have a lot of conversations, and then you're looking for patterns within those conversations. Like, okay, I talked to this person and we ended up saying that their style is curated loft. What did that conversation look like? And then over and over and over and over again, you have so many of those conversations, whether it's in person, it's talking on the phone, it's DMs, whatever it may be. Same with Erin. She said that on the podcast, came on our podcast, same thing. So you want to look for the patterns, and AI can help with that. Like, you can just put in all the conversations that you have and say, hey, what are the 4 to 6 different answers to that main question? And again, the main question is like, what career should I be in? What coffee should I buy? What's my interior design style? And then you find the answers to that question. One more I want to show you here. This is from Jamie C. Jamie's a business coach, but coming from a heart centered place. And what her audience wants to know is, how can I show up online without it really being terrible for me, without it disrupting my nervous system? And so she has this visibility archetype quiz. And this quiz has 4 different answers. So these are the answers here. And then you answer 7 questions to figure out which answer is right for you. So similar here. And this quiz has great engagement as well. I interviewed Jamie on the podcast as well. Kind of just to recap here, if you want to increase engagement on your website, get more leads, sell more of your products with a quiz, the principles to follow is, number one, you have to answer the question that's on people's minds that brought them to your site. Why are they coming to you? And if you haven't figured that one out, I would just stop there, because if you try to launch a quiz that doesn't answer that question, it's not going to work very well. So first of all, figure out what is it that people want and why are they coming to your site. Second, figure out what are those 4 to 6 answers to that question that will satisfy your audience, that will satisfy your ideal customer. So it could be the interior design styles, it could be the career types, it could be the coffee matches, it could be the visibility archetypes, whatever it may be. What are those 4 to 6 different answers that will be very satisfactory? And those come from your conversations, your DMs, etc. Then you work backwards to make your questions, and you basically say, okay, I have this many questions to figure out which of these outcomes is going to be right for the person taking the quiz. Each outcome has an answer choice that connects to each of the overall scores of the overall answers at the very end of the quiz. So that's how you make your scoring, make it simple. And that's how you make the logic. Then you ask for an email at the end of the quiz. That's really important, because a lot of people make the mistake of putting the email at the beginning of the quiz. And if our goal here is engagement, think about how that experience plays for you. Like, if you're visiting a website of somebody that you've never heard of before, you click on a quiz and the first thing they say is put in your email. What are you going to do? Probably not engage, right? But if you start taking the quiz, you start answering the questions, and the questions really speak to you, you're like, okay, this is relevant. Obviously, whoever made this quiz understands what's going on in my world, and I believe that they can actually help me get the answer that I want. Then at the very end of the quiz, it says enter your email to get a full report of your results. And you can get like a more basic version if you don't put in your email. That's really powerful. And that's the number that converts at 40%. That's our average conversion rate since 2013. Billion quiz takers. That works really well. So ask at the end. And then you also want to make sure that you are giving very satisfactory results at the very end of your quiz, because if people are really unhappy, they'll let you know, and you don't want that. Those are the principles of creating an engagement quiz for a website. Get more of those people to engage, just like the original story of why we created this company in the first place. 1% to 40%, 2% to 40%, whatever it may be. You're definitely leaving stuff on the table without having a secondary option like a quiz. Of course, you're going to leave your products, you're going to leave your services, you're going to leave your book a call links on there, very prominent. But if people aren't ready to jump straight to that, a quiz is a great option to capture more of that demand and not just let people click on your site and just bounce away and never come back.